Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, boy, I'll tell you what, it's been cold and we're getting thicker and thicker ice, and I see more colonies of fishermen. And I talked to a friend of mine, Bobby Helms. Bobby grew up in the Adirondacks, and Bobby is an avid ice fisherman, an avid fisherman in general. And he told me that he's been going to Brandy Brook. He knows there's a lot of spots along here that you can see the ice fishermen gathering now. But he said Brandy Brook, the one thing that he's noticed this year, and not only in his own fishing, but with all the other people that are gathered there, is the thing he told me. He says the fish are really finicky. And, you know, a lot of times that comes with the more and more pressure they get. And you see these certain areas where fishermen are gathering, you know, on the ice. Those fish are getting pressure. And as they get pressured, they get much more reluctant to react to the things that they see. But he told me that what he has seen, that in order to get, and he's fishing primarily for perch right now. As he said, most of the fishermen are. But he says what he's seen on his graphs is if you see 3 or 4 fish together, then you're much more likely for one of them to come at your offering and hit. He says if there's just one fish, he isn't doing all that well. He said that there's other spots that fishermen are really doing well. White House Bay, which is just basically upriver, up the road, the other side of Waddington as you're going towards Ogdensburg. And you'll see the road, you'll see where cars are parked all along there. But the neat thing about White House Bay is it's a big area of water. And it's coming way back in from the current in the St. Lawrence River. So the ice conditions are generally going to be safer, going to be thicker in that area because you don't have the constant changing of water levels and fluctuations of current. He said that there's been a lot of northern pike caught in this area, and perch and crappies as well. And as you go way back towards Route 37, then that water sort of takes a turn and goes back into this. We call it the stump field, and it's an area where there's a massive amount of underwater stumps and logs and branches and so forth. It's a haven for fish to gather, and normally that area is really, really good in the spring. But he said now the fishermen are saying that those fish are back in there right now. And so all the fish that would be in White House Bay, which is part of this water, will go all the way back into the stump field, and it can be a fabulous place for panfish and even largemouth bass in the open water. So this is another very popular spot. And of course, they are also now, you see a lot of people fishing around Coles Creek area. And there's reasons that they go to these spots. And when I'm talking about Coles Creek, I'm talking about where the marina is along Route 37. Then there's a huge bay that comes back in from the St. Lawrence River. And that bay it doesn't freeze nearly as quickly as some of the other backwaters, and also the water on the other side of the road, which is full bears. But there's ice in that bay now, and there's a number of people that are fishing there. Well, I'm going to say the northern part of that bay, as you're heading towards Messina, and that northern part, there along that long shoreline, that's where people really are congregating, and they're doing that for a reason, because that area is really good for perch. And there's also some real deep water as you get back towards the causeway, and that deep water area often holds walleyes. And the fishermen know this. They know all these key spots. But he tells me that there's been a lot of fish caught, but again, the thing that stood out to him was how finicky these perch had become. And I'm sure that that's probably the case a lot of times, but it really seems to be the case right now. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.